Right next door to the art compound is the historical museum. Let's go in and check it out. Telephone museum. Whoa. Oh my goodness. I didn't know that this was here.
And then of course we have our telephone booths, which are useful if you need to, make a phone call and have a little privacy or change into your superhero outfit. This is actually called a countertop payphone, and it was made by Kellogg, and it was actually in a drugstore in Winter Park in the 1950s, it was made specifically to be big and clunky so that it could sit on a countertop and people wouldn't swipe it, which I'm like, thinking to myself, like, why would someone just like steal a telephone? It's like, you have to get it hooked up to a service. Like, people are gonna find out you stole the phone. Basically, all of these numbers correspond with, correspond with a certain number of electrical pulses. So if you dial 5, as it's rotating back to its starting position, it releases 5 electrical pulses to the system. And then whatever combination of numbers that you dial, however that combination of electrical pulses in that sequence, directs the step-by-step, the switching arm to the correct line, basically, to connect you. Demonstrate also with the switchboard the difference. Only one of 6 of these machines to still be known to exist, and only 3 that are still working.
It's an autochron?
Autochron, yes. And basically the company would make the machines, they would retain ownership, and then they would loan them out to businesses. And so businesses could offer this service. Basically what this whole big machine does is you call in and it tells you the exact time and temperature.
Oh.
So, love that. And it does work, but we don't have the temperature sensor hooked up to the roof at this time. So you'll just have to take my word for it.
Yeah. 555-1212. That was the number that we called when I was a kid.
Yeah.
To get time and temperature.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love these 2 phones. I like to point out. They're fantastic. I have never seen them before. They're called the Cobra style phone, which is just great. And it's actually a rotary phone, so on the bottom is the rotary dial. If you haven't already had the opportunity, please feel free to explore our grounds. And across the street is our courtyard and chapel. You're welcome to walk through that and enjoy.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, you guys have a great day. The telex machine, which is the precursor to the fax machine. What's interesting about the telex is that it actually operated completely separate from the phone system. It had its own line, it had its own numbers. It was completely separate from the telephone system.
Telex.
There's some photos on the wall of technicians working on the lines. Those tools are actually used. We have a volunteer who comes in and works on the phones. And they're from all different eras. And so if he's working on a phone from a certain era, he will use tools that are from that era. All the different underground cables, underground lines that they were running. I love the early, super treacherous insulation, if you could even call it that, like the paper. It's hilarious. And then of course we move into fiber optics and better insulation, safety. These were used to test the phone lines. So linesmen would climb to the top and they would use the cables to connect to the phone line and kind of dial in, check in, call their mom, you know. These are insulators that would have been on the top of telephone poles, and they were originally used for telegraph lines and then telephone lines. And so these little grooves here are, the telephone line would be wrapped around. And that's, as you can see, the predominant has those grooves, except for this weird guy right here, who I love. The line would just rest in that groove. And I'm like, how many times do people have to go in and be like, yeah, like a hummingbird flapped its wings and the telephone line blew out of the little groove that it sits in. A lot of people ask about the different colors of the glass, the different designs, like there's different, you know, the companies marked, you know, whichever company made it marked it. They're like, you know, does it have anything to do with a certain telephone company? No. It's just whatever was cheap, easy, and available. Huh. So you'd see a mix of stuff. And then in the 1950s, they switched to porcelain.
I like this one.
The Americana one?
Yeah.
You know, Disney is, I know, pretty secretive about some of the things that they, you know, do and the behind the scenes things.
Wow. Can you imagine sitting at that chair all day listening to people's conversations?
I know.
This is probably where most of the gossip in all the communities came from. What do you think?
Yes, before Twitter. Yeah. For sure.
This was the original Twitter right here. Where are we at right now?
So this is the Maitland Historical Museum.
I'm having a great time exploring Maitland, Florida. We're going to pick up here in the next video and continue with exploring another local haunted location, the Waterhouse Residence, the home of one of the founding families of the city. Thanks for watching, friends. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and I'll see you in the next video.